This is a lesson on pressure and converting units of pressure. Pressure is force divided by area. The more force there is, the more pressure, the smaller area it's exerting, the more pressure. It's the thing about standing on ice and breaking the ice. If you stand upright, there's a small amount of area and you'll crack the ice. But if you spread out, lay down, your force will be spread out over a greater area and you will not crack the ice. There are many units of force. All of them deal with sea level. The atmospheric pressure at sea level is kind of the basis for all these. And there are many, many different levels. One is atmosphere. ATM is 1 atmosphere of pressure, which is at sea level. Another one, and this is the SI unit, 101.3 kPa, which is kilopascals. One Pascal is 1 Newton of force over 1 square meter, which is very, very light. Additional new one that they're coming up with that people don't have is 100 bar, which is the new SI unit of force, which will come around eventually. The English system, 14.7 PSI, which is pounds per square inch. Also, you have 760 torr, named after an Italian guy named Torricelli, or 760. The textbook likes millimeters. Millimeters of mercury is the true calling of it. In the English system, sometimes instead of millimeters of mercury, you have inches of mercury. These are all equivalent values. The millimeters comes from the fact of the first barometers were very long tubes filled with mercury set into a cup of mercury, and the weight of the mercury coming down is equal to the weight of the atmospheric pressure, since they're equal and opposite. And then this distance here happened to be 760 millimeters at sea level. So that's where the millimeters of mercury comes from. As far as the math and the homework on this section, it's pretty much dimensional analysis. If you're given a number like 660 millimeters of mercury, and you want to know how many atmospheres that is. Millimeters of mercury is up here, so millimeters of mercury goes down here, and I wanted to know atmospheres. ATM, abbreviation for atmosphere, so 1 atmosphere is 760 millimeters of mercury. So you divide 660 divided by 760 to get your answer. Remember to round off to 3 significant digits and label it. I don't have the calculator right here, but it'll come out to be something like, I'm guessing, 0.850 atmospheres. I'm just guessing on that 0.850. But remember, you show your work, you round it, and you label it. That's how you do the work. You could have 100, let's call it 2 atmospheres. And I want to know how many millimeters that is. So 1 atmosphere goes on the bottom, and millimeters of mercury is 760. Millimeters of mercury goes on top. The atmospheres cancel. So 2 times that is 1,520, 3 significant digits, millimeters of mercury. Sometimes you have to multiply and divide. If you have 7.35 psi, and I want to know how many kPa that is. Well, we got to get rid of the psi, so that goes on the bottom. So it's 14.7 kPa. Up on top, I said kilopascals, and that's 101.3. That's a half, and half that is roughly about 50.5 kPa. And that's how you do most of these problems. You just put what you're trying to find on top. Oops. This is PSI. Pounds per square inch. It's on the bottom. So you put what you're trying to find on top, and the conversion unit from up here will go on top and the bottom, depending on what you're trying to find. The other thing that you can do is convert temperature units. Kelvin equals degrees Celsius plus 273. This goes from Kelvin to Celsius. The Kelvin will always be the larger number. And what this does is you avoid negative numbers for a temperature. And when we do the next section, negative numbers could give you a poor result because you'd have a negative pressure or a negative volume. Very embarrassing. And that concludes this lesson on force and